Thank you all so much. It's great to be here. We love you back! Well, we were very honored to ask to speak about a really crucial part of our journey, which is your attitudes towards self-development. And one thing we've learned is that your business will only grow as fast as you will grow. Regardless of all the presentations and all the follow-up, it's how much work are you doing on yourself. Because Nu Skin pays for leadership, and they pay a lot of money for it. So we need to develop our leadership. And I'd love to turn it over to my beautiful wife to share our journey.
I love starting with this because I believe this business will cut you to your core and expose what you're supposed to be. And I saw the angel in the marble carved, wow, sorry, and carved until I set it free. And some of you know my husband had the vision to start this business, and I was definitely the reluctant spouse. And what came to me, being reluctant, was I'd always had success. I went to UCLA, I got straight A's, and I didn't have to study, and I got, a job and a promotion, and got a master's degree, and got great grades there, and didn't have to work that hard, and it always looked like I was giving 100% of myself. But I was never doing over 70. And I realized with Nu Skin, there's nowhere to hide. And that to have success, I was going to actually have to bring 100% of my best self to this business. And that was really scary, because I think the reason I had never done it in my past was, what if I brought 100% and failed? And it really scared me. And it's very easy to defer to Jeff, because he's a strong leader, he's a passionate leader. At the beginning, I didn't have the same passion he had. But the passion actually comes in this business from doing the business, and from meeting people and making friends in the business and learning the business. So I always had this belief, particularly at the end of my other career in healthcare, that I'm not a religious person, but that it's a sin not to use the gifts you're given. And I was never using them. And I look at Jeff, and he's a gifted speaker. And he never did that in his previous career. He sat in an office and he fought battles that weren't necessarily productive the way this can be productive. So you got to look at this business as who's at the core of you. And I think we all come and we're like this big square of marble, and staying in our comfort zones means we'll never actually be the masterpiece that we were meant to be. And at the beginning, we came to an event like this, and our first event, there was a VIP tent in the back. Do you guys remember this? And you had to walk past it. And Jeff and I were walking to the front, like we always did, because we were successful, and we always got first row seats, and they stopped us. And they said, no, these are for, people who are emeralds and diamonds and rubies, and the team elite's in front, you're not allowed here. We were a little shocked, and we sat in the back, like, we're never sitting back here again, this is not acceptable. And we really committed to be team elite in a year, making $101,000.98 a month. And shockingly, that didn't occur. I don't know how we missed it. But we didn't even come anywhere close. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know the business. We thought Nathan Ricks did it. Of course we can. We didn't know what we were doing. So we had a long journey. And the biggest part of our journey was who we were being and who we needed to become to be successful at Nu Skin. And we struggled to get to Ruby. There were tears, there were, Kade talked about wanting to quit 20 times. Again, thank God that we were together, because like Sandy and Blake, neither of us ever quit on the same day, but there were lots of times of us wanting to quit, because we were doing this full time. There were two of us. We had prior success, we had good circles of influence, we knew people with money. Like, how could we not be reaching Ruby? And we weren't. And we were watching other people go across the stage, and it was really hard for us. And so the wisdom of Jeff, he's like, you've got to develop that. He's always believed this, you're the most important investment. So we really invested in our personal growth and our personal development and really worked on who we were as people and what we needed to become. And for me, I needed to step into my power. Thank you, Risa Salter, for pointing that out. And Jeff needed to step into his heart. And it was a lot, and people who've known us the whole time know there's been a big shift. And we stepped into it partly because I was told people need to hear your voice. Because not everyone's going to relate to Jeff. Not everyone's going to relate to Cotabazi. But each of us have something that they will be related to. And so each of us are really important in this business, and the only way to be successful is to really step into who you're meant to be. And all of us come with some success already. Some of us have parts already developed. But that doesn't mean you're going to have instant success with Nu Skin. And you wouldn't be here if someone hadn't seen that in you and hadn't seen that the masterpiece is there waiting to happen. And every one of you is invited because someone saw you greater than you see yourself. And of course, most of us have some work to do to get there. And most of us, the work is in our mind. So we had this beautiful plan, this GPS, the core habits of the most successful leaders in the business. And all we had to do was follow it. And I chose not to. Like, I don't know what the thinking was there. Jeff was doing all the habits. He was doing everything he was supposed to be doing. And I wasn't. And when I looked at, always going back to the system and reviewing what we're doing, and that's part of our personal growth, why wasn't I following? I had the GPS in the car and I had it turned off. I was like, well, I know where I'm going. I'll just turn the volume down and maybe I'll end up there. And it wasn't working for us. And I think the reasons for me were twofold. One, what if I gave it 100% and failed? And two, and I was sort of proving myself right because I felt like we were failing as we went. And the other thing was, you don't get to be 40 and single if you're not afraid of commitment. And I was afraid of really committing to this business in a big way. So I just didn't. I kind of half committed. I kind of, I want to do it. I kind of, maybe Jeff will do it by himself. Maybe I'll be in. Maybe I'll be, I don't know. And until I fully committed, and when I fully committed, the road to Ruby was really quick. But it was a lot of self-evaluation, looking at who we were, looking at how we were showing up, and fighting our own battles. I mean, our battles with our mind. And the thing that's so important about the personal development is, like Kade was saying last night, he learned to recover really quickly. And I look at the reading, the daily reading and the daily audio as a protective helmet. It's there to keep your brain intact. And when someone tells you you're crazy, which by the way, someone backstage just told us we were crazy. You moved to Vietnam? You're crazy. And I was like, wait, wasn't someone saying this morning, has anyone ever told you you're crazy to do this business? Maybe a little bit, but it doesn't bother me. It's actually, I take it as a compliment now, but at the beginning when people said, Jeff's old business partner said, I can't believe you left to be the Avon lady. That was a hard hit to take. But doing the reading really keeps your mind, you've got this plethora of good information that counterbalances that. And knowing that the most successful people in this world have done things that were scary and challenging and crazy, dropping out of Harvard was probably not the thing that most people thought was a good idea for Steve Jobs to do. Did Steve Jobs make it anyway? Absolutely. He had a vision and he knew where he was going. So I look at what thoughts are holding you back. For me, it was a little bit about money, a little bit about, can I earn $100,000 a month? Am I deserving of that? So that's stuff I had to work with. Jeff had different things in his mind. A little bit about the commitment, a little bit about, he's so much better at this than me. I should sit quietly and let him do it. But then I knew I wasn't living my greatness, and I wasn't using my gifts. And that, I think, is a tragedy. So I had to really step up and do it. Now I'm going to defer to him.
Doing this business with your wife has a whole new set of challenges, and in your way of growing, I owe my relationship with my wife to this business, to having an amazing relationship. I was single at 40, and we've been together now 8 years, and we spend 95% of our time together. So it's not about the money, it's about the relationships that you have with yourself and others. And we all need to change to become something more than we currently are. And I love this quote: we cannot become what we need to be by remaining what we are. And I'm not saying anyone here is broken. We were meeting with a distributor and she said, "What's wrong with me?" I'm like, "You should ask your husband. I don't know." There's nothing wrong with you. We're all perfect, but we're all working to achieve more. And that's where the core habits are so important. And I spent, my journey has been very different than my wife's. I was very committed, and like most men in this business, and I worked really closely with Charlie, and a lot of our journey was the same, of going from my head to my heart, to going from an employer and a consultant and battling the IRS and dealing with very high net worth people, to being in my heart and connecting with people on a different level. Because people don't join the business because of the products, they don't join the business because of the compensation, they join the business because they see value in you and what you can create with them. So then I had to say to myself and do the hardest look, as I do every day, into the mirror: who am I? Not, I like the way I look and I'm using the pearls in the spa, but who am I as a human being? And who am I becoming to become the person? What am I doing? And sometimes when we look in the mirror, it's a really hard thing to look at. But what's good is we have the ability as human beings, unlike anyone else on the planet, to change at that moment and change how we're thinking, like Kade was saying. Change your attitude, because that's what's going to bring you success, not only in Nu Skin, because the work that we do makes you a better human being on this planet. And this planet needs our leadership and our self-development in order to make the world a better place. And I believe we're all on a mission to make that happen. But by staying where we are, it's not going to happen. We each need to commit to ourselves. And that's really important. And we hear a lot about leadership, from John Maxwell to Brian Tracy. Yet when I look at leadership, I define it as core. Commitment, ownership, responsibility, and edification. And what I love about this is that each of us control our personal leadership. And before anyone follows us, we need to be the leaders of ourselves, of our family, of our own life. So what is commitment? I heard An say it, and he describes it as I do. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to be free? Ask yourself that. Are you willing to make the sacrifice? And it doesn't mean being a team leader or a Blue Diamond. If you're going to be a gold executive because that couple of $100 is going to pay for music lessons, are you committed to making that happen, or are you not? Because we live in two worlds. We live in, I'm getting results, or I'm making excuses for not getting results in my life. And I'm talking to you frankly because we're one family. And this is an honest conversation that I have with myself, and I'm going to share it with you. If we're making excuses, we're not getting results each day. And it sucks. It does. Because getting the results makes you feel better, and that's the action part. And we will make sacrifice. I look at these people in the front, people that I admire that have touched our lives, and I know they've made sacrifices. I've called them on the days where I've been in tears. You know, we moved to a new market. We don't speak the language. I started our business again. I said, what have I done? You know, I was in my heart. I woke up in the middle of the night looking at my wife and saying, what have I done? It's so different here. But instead of doing less, I did more. I said, we need to see more people. We need to figure it out. I am committed to my business. Are you committed to your business, to whatever your vision is? Because it's not going to happen if you're not committed. Then you get the ownership. Very important. Whose business? Who is the leader in your business? What is that? Yeah, I am. It's not your sponsor. It's not Nu Skin. It's my business. It's our business. It's your business. And as soon as you realize that and take that ownership in it, it's going to change your life. It's going to bring a whole new perspective to what you need to do every day. No different than if you owned a store and you're selling breakfast. Do you go to your neighbor? Hey, can I borrow some eggs? I mean, just because Nu Skin is a virtual business and we don't need to sign a personal guarantee and it costs $100,000, are you owning your business? Are you the leader of your business? Because if you're not, and that leadership comes from within, are you beating your self-thoughts? We all have them, the defeating thoughts. I can't do this. I'm scared. I have fear. We all have fear every day. I have fear every day I get up, but I choose to take a step and walk through it with my wife to get to the other side of the fear, which is my dream and my vision. And that's really, really important. And, you know, responsibility. Hey, Dr. Couture were you able to help me out with that distributor back there? Were you able to revive him? Oh, did the CPR work? It's too late for that. It's too. You really need to take, so you can help him, right? Couldn't. You really need to take responsibility in your business. A lot of times you hear, this is so hard. This is what we hear. Oh, I have no one to call. They can't come to the meeting, they're busy. Is this network marketing? No one cares. Okay? No one cares. It's be responsible for yourself. It sucks. I don't like complaints. Bring a solution. I always speak with people. If you don't like it, bring a solution. You're all smart people. The only one who cares when you complain is your mother, and that's sometimes. So, it depends your relationship with her. Be responsible. It's your dream. Your sponsor, your upline, your sidelines, everyone in this room will help you get there. They will help you. They'll do whatever it takes. They're not going to do it for you. So you have to be responsible. And you know what that means. Get on the calls. Do what you say. Possess integrity. Run your business like a business. Very important. And edification. To me, edification is attitude towards others and attitude towards yourself. And unlike Nathan said, that attitude is when you're at home. It's how you treat the waitress in the restaurant. Everyone is looking at you. Everyone. And you don't know if they're going to be in Nu Skin or not. You're wearing your Nu Skin suit all the time. How do you want to represent Nu Skin in yourself? These are just things to think about. When you go home at night, are you going to be the leader? Are you going to change? And it's not easy. It's really not. You have a lot to do and implement. You want to go?
Yeah, you keep that. So in order to fully develop it, you actually have to implement. And being a therapist, I sort of like to do my reading or go to a seminar and then talk about it and think about it and ponder it. And what a great thing that was. And I was watching Jeff, and he would go to a seminar or read a book and implement it immediately. And it's really effective if you're implementing it immediately. It's not so effective to read it and talk about it, think about it, and ponder it, and think how it applies to your past and what you might do in the future. Our job here is to trust ourselves enough to create a self that we can live with the rest of our lives. And we're not going to do that by talking about it. So as much as the reading and listening to the audio is important, you got to do something with it. Because if you're not, I hope we filled your mind with something great, but your business is not going to grow unless you start implementing. And this was a big lesson for me because I stood back and didn't do a lot. And what I realized was it was not only crippling me in my development, because Jeff got better and better, and by comparison, I looked worse and worse. Not that it's a competition. But when you're someone who wants to be perfect before you step out on stage anyway, I was so busy trying to be perfect and getting ready to get ready that I wasn't implementing, and I wasn't getting better. And so you have to be implementing. The other thing it was doing is it was crippling our team. Because if I'm deferring to Jeff, everyone else is too. And if you've got a strong leader, and it's easy to just defer, and he's willing to do it, he takes massive ownership of everything in front of him, but it's taken away from other people. For me not to step in and go, wait, I own it too, and you own it, and you own it, and you own it. Step into it. And it's such a big part of this business, and I think that's where a lot of us fall short. We love the culture, we love the product, we love this, we love it. When I realized all we do is talk to people, that's it. That's all we do. Some people want to use products, some people want to be in the business, some people are just new friends. Like, how many times did I have to hear that before I started doing enough action to go, oh my gosh, this is all we do? And we had a team member come out and stay with us for a week in New York, and he said, I was hesitant to fully engage in this business because you and Jeff work so hard. And after spending 4 days with us, he said, you're not even working. We were talking all the time, we were meeting with new people, but it was like having coffee with people. And when he got that that's all we do, this business just isn't that hard, but you have to be implementing. And again, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to, Jeff was better at it than I was. But the longer you defer to someone else, the worse it makes you feel. And the only way to build confidence is by doing the business.
Yeah, implementing, and we read great books, we attend Success Summit. What are you going to take out of it and put into action? One of the greatest tools in the books that I've read is How to Win Friends and Influence People. You'll never win an argument. That's changed my life. I'm a lawyer and a business consultant. I was born to argue, right? I grew up in a Jewish family. I mean, if we weren't arguing, we weren't happy. Laura's laughing and she can relate. But that's not how you build a new skin business. You'll never win. But when I started implementing that, it not only changed me, it changed the relationship with my life. It changed every relationship in my life. So we have the greatest libraries in the world. But if you read the book and you don't take action, it's just an institution filled with paper. We killed a lot of trees to get there. So we need to take what we learn and put it into practice. And to get to the masterpiece that we want to be, we will take hits along the road. And we will be tested in this business. And I would love to play, I don't know if you've ever seen The Adjustment Bureau. And I want you to listen to the words very carefully. Could you roll the video, please?
Harry? You're the chairman?
No. You've let him know. Or her. And everybody has. The chairman comes in a different form to everyone, so people rarely realize when it happens.
Is this some sort of test?
In a way, it's all a test. For everybody. Even the members of the Adjustment Bureau. David, you risked everything for Elise. And Elise, when you came through that door at the Statue of Liberty, you risked everything too. But you inspired me. Seems like you inspired the chairman too.
Is that about us?
Yes.
What does it say?
It says that this situation between the two of you is a serious deviation from the plan. So the chairman rewrote it.
Okay. Now what?
Now, you can take the stairs. Most people live life on the path we set for them, too afraid to explore any other. But once in a while, people like you come along and knock down all the obstacles we put in your way. People who realize free will is a gift you'll never know how to use until you fight for it. I think that's the chairman's real plan. And maybe one day, we won't write the plan. You will.
There is nothing inspiring about
The
being a
Adjustment
lawyer.
Bureau.
Living your life every day in monotony is not why we're put on this planet. And that video speaks so much to what we do, but more importantly, who we are. And do you want to just have an ordinary life? Or do you want to live the dreams or the dreams of your children? And are you going to make it happen? And we're always growing and changing. Can you advance the slide? As we become leaders, it's an emerging process. And it's never done. We're always working on ourselves in different ways, in different parts. And it's so important to be enjoying the journey. And there are difficult parts of it as we're tested. And for me, getting into my heart was really hard. You know, I wasn't brought up that way. I wasn't brought up in an emotional family. Not that my parents didn't love me, but to be in my heart, to show my vulnerability as a leader. When you inspire someone from your heart, it's 10,000 times more powerful than a leader who's in his head. And whenever we speak, if there's one person that walks out of here and goes and changes their life, I don't need to know about it. I feel that I've served. And that's what we love to do. We're here to serve, each and every one of us. And it's you know, When I started Nu Skin, I had no desire to speak on stage. I never had that as a goal. Yet I realized why you do it is because as you're developing your leadership, you're here to share and create a better world for other people. And another part of the core habits is, why do we attend all System 7 recommended events? Why are you here? And if you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, I would say this weekend, if you pick any 5 people that are in this room, they're going to change your life, and they're going to raise the bar for you. And that's why you come to Success Summit. And that's why you get your 1 + 1, not only to hear Kari, but to say you did it for yourself, to increase your leadership, to have the core habit, and to lead by example.
And 2 things the system really taught me are, 1, if you come to events to get something, that's great, but you may not ever get enough. You're going to look at speakers and say, oh, I could do better than that person, and I didn't get enough, and they weren't there, and that's not what I needed to hear. I wasn't in the right place. But if you come to serve, there will always be enough. Because you never know who you're impacting just by being here. Even if you just LOI'd or you've been an executive for 5 years, you being here impacts somebody else. And that's what our business is about. It's about service. And I love Maria last night when she was speaking to the 5+ group said, every time she comes to an event, she finds something in herself she didn't know was there. And I think that's the beauty of being in this community.
So, goal to my year. Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into flames of achievement. Each of you has greatness inside of you. We're all born with gifts. The question is, what's your attitude towards your gifts? Are you going to actually fan that little spark and ignite the greatness within you to do something bigger than you could have ever done? OTG System 7 takes ordinary people like us and creates extraordinary results. Think about that. We're all ordinary, regular people. We're no different than anyone else on this planet. But we're able to create extraordinary results by the work of the system and the work we're able to do on ourselves. You know, become the masterpiece within you. You're on this journey. You will never be done with it. You're always, Michelangelo, I love looking at this, and we've had the opportunity to be in Florence together and see it. And as much as it looks like perfection, there's no such thing as perfection. It's a journey where you never arrive. Whether you hit Ruby and you go on a success trip, the journey is within. Who do you want to become? Be very clear on that. Who do you want to become in society? Who do you want to become in your Nu Skin business? Who's going to follow you? And when you look in the mirror every day, you will get that answer. And sometimes it's a hard answer because we're not being who we want. But like Kade said, change your attitude. Edification is your attitude. Change your attitude towards you. Because you are the most important asset of your Nu Skin business. You recruit one person in Nu Skin and that's you. Everyone else doesn't matter. They will join you. And a lot of you, I know, and my wife knows a lot of you I don't, I know you're all incredible people. And you're all here. And if you leave here and you put into action what the speakers have been sharing, or some of your friends shared with you, your life will change, and you could go out there and lead others and change their lives. So before we end, I'd like to have one really strong, one team, one dream.